The long wait is over. England will take over. Hello friends, this is ALPHAbravoromeo and we've got a lot to talk about this new game, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. In this video, we will cover things I wish I knew in the early game. Assassin's Creed Valhalla offers so many improvements and changes from its previous franchise, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. After playing roughly 25 hours and having more than 120 skill points, I think it's best to give you some tips and tricks that could possibly help you in the early game. Let's go! Don't trust the autosave. Most games on PS4 now automatically save the game every now and then. But do not trust the autosave on Assassin's Creed Valhalla just yet. I don't want you to get frustrated when a game decides to crash, especially after completing a hard puzzle or after killing a boss you've been trying to eliminate for a few times. The game has still some system bugs that still need to be fixed, so save yourself from disappointment by doing some manual saving. You can always go back. Assassin's Creed Valhalla offers a huge world for us to explore and discover. This game takes place primarily both in Norway and England, which are both divided into smaller regions. Some of you would probably be tempted to always finish everything before moving to the next region, and you'd find yourself spending a number of hours in doing so. Remember, once you have moved to England, you can always go back to Norway by going to the options, then map, and press Atlas. Follow the story. I know there's a sense of fulfillment when you collect all the wealth, artifacts, and solve all the mysteries in a specific region. However, there will be rare instances wherein you will not be able to collect a loot because it is locked behind a main quest content. And that is annoying after you sneak yourself in and kill the camp full of enemies. You might also notice that you keep coming back to the previous region you just cleared because that's where you need to go to finish your quest. So if I were you, don't get too attached in a certain region because you'll end up there eventually. Use the Hidden Blade. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is probably the first Assassin's Creed game franchise that showcases a character who is purposely showing the blade to the enemies. Aside from that, if you're not paying attention to some early game tutorials, you might miss out the fact that you could use the Hidden Blade as a weapon to both attack and assassinate a target. To do that, make sure nothing is equipped in your offhand. Don't worry, you'd still be able to parry incoming attacks by tapping the parry button, and you can execute an attack by holding the parry button. Hidden Blade inflicts damage to the enemy like a spear. The initial stab will not deal a huge damage, but once your character pulls the blade out of the target, it deals a moderate amount of damage and knocks most of the enemies down to the ground. Advanced Assassination. Speaking of our favorite Hidden Blade, for the first time in Assassin's Creed game franchise, Assassin's Creed Valhalla gives the player the power to assassinate almost anyone in the game. I repeat, anyone, even the elite ones. This is only possible after you unlock the Advanced Assassination skill. You can do this by going through the Raven Tree and unlocking some prerequisites for this one. Though you will have to do a minigame when targeting elite enemies, I think this skill is still worth unlocking. And for those who really like to have an instant kill after an assassination, you may want to change it in the option menu, but take note, this is not how the game developers intended you to play the game. Eagle Vision. Eagle Vision has always been very useful in all Assassin's Creed games. However, in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you will be a bit disappointed because the eagle has a very limited use. You can use the eagle to distract an enemy by using the Raven distraction ability, which would cost you an adrenaline bar. And it is important to know that you will not be able to tag the enemies anymore unlike before. Moreover, you can use your eagle to pinpoint the whereabouts of your quest in an area depending on your game difficulty setting. And most especially, it pinpoints where the key to the nearest locked door is hiding, given that the Odin Sense is also of limited capacity. Break in through the windows. Yes, I know. A monastery stained glass in England is too beautiful to destroy. Breaking in through the windows is not always the most elegant way of entry. But if you really can't find a key to unlock the door even with your Odin vision and eagle vision, do you have any other choice? These will come very handy when you try to raid settlements, because most of the village treasured raw materials are hidden inside a locked monastery guarded by some elite enemies. To do this, just find a window that doesn't have any bars protecting it, and you can smash it with your weapon or even hit it with an arrow. Fire if you require. I'm still wondering where Eivor is getting all the wood he uses to make a fire, but all I know is fire is always almost the key to anything. If you are in a dark pitched room and you can find your way out, you can always make a fire and light up a torch. If you want an enemy to have a slow death, you can set him ablaze with your torch. Or, if you want your target to burn while keeping your distance, you can always light up a torch and drop it off the ground, pull out an arrow, point it to the fire from the torch, and fires away. If you run out of arrows and you need to shoot a ladder, wooden floor, light walls, and even ropes, you can always resort to using a torch. And hey, if you can kill someone with fire, there's no excuse for you to expire. Once you catch fire and you didn't pay attention to it, your health might take the toll. Remember that you can always press the dodge button until the fire debuff is gone. Trails on the details. If you are someone like me who always wants to wear a complete set of armor, then this tip is for you. Finding an interesting piece of armor will never let us stop from locating the remaining ones. However, scouring the entire map of England would take us a few hours or so. If you want to work smart and efficiently, you can always get a hint of where you can find the rest of the armor set by looking at the details of the ones you already have. This also works if you are trying to find the members of the order that you want to assassinate. Simply go to the order in the options tab and press details to get the hint of where you can find the next clue. Silver in the river. Money might not grow in the trees, but surely money is swimming in the river. Silver is not always a requirement to acquire new skills or upgrade a gear, but you can always use the silver to buy the materials you need to level up an equipment. If you ever happen to run out of silver, you can always go to the Northwich up in the East Anglia. Right in the center of the township is a river full of fishes. These goods can be sold up to 15 coins each. To catch fish fast, you may want to take off extra weight of your armor, equip your spear, and use your Odin sight to trap the school of fish that would make you rich. And don't worry, there's unlimited fish in the Wensum River. More rations, more actions. I can't put more stress on this one. Rations are your lifesaver. These little tiny things will replenish your health bar. This was on my least priority before, and that was one of my biggest regrets while playing the game. Rations will save you hours in trying to complete your tasks, be it a quest, a raid, or even wealth hunting. When your health bar turns red and you can find a food around you, you would want to stop whatever dangerous move you're trying to pull off, or else you'll die if you fail and you will starve from your latest save point again. But if you have extra rations, then there's more actions. To upgrade your rations, just simply go to the options, then inventory, and drag the cursor to this small pouchy thing to the left. If you don't have all the materials required to upgrade it, you can always go to the nearest merchant and check out their stores if you have what you need. 2 is better than 1. Little did I know that in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you can have the power to wield 2 two-handed weapons, shields, or a combination of both. This made my life easier as I could face and challenge the enemies straight on without always trying to hide from them to pull off an assassination move. You can get the heavy dual wield skill by unlocking some prerequisites in either Raven Tree or Bear Tree. Sound the horn! This is pretty silly, but I hope you don't commit the same mistakes as I did. I never thought that you could sound the horn almost any time in the game. If you are in the corner of nowhere and you need a quick ride to somewhere, quick travel and horse are not the only options. Remember, you could always sound the horn and call for the longship to give you a ride. If you want to raid a settlement, you need not to go to a port to call for support. Just sound the horn and enemies will start to mourn. Also, if you find yourself cornered by heaps of enemies, you can always draw them to the nearest body of water, sound the horn, and the reinforcements will be there to provide you support. play dead if you don't want to be dead. There will come a time you'll find yourself thirsty for more challenges. And how else would you measure your battling skills? One way is to go to a region where recommended level is way beyond your level. And once you are trapped by a lot of enemies, what would you do? Well, I would play dead until I could sneak out again. Do this by using the special ability Feign Death. You could learn this from Book of Knowledge that can be found one in Leavilla Garrison in Oxfordshire and one in Elfwood in Gloucestershire. Just be careful with the timing of using this ability, because if you do this too late, then you're also too late to fool your enemies. Feast and become a beast. Vikings always hold feasts for a variety of reasons, including harvest festivals, religious rituals, weddings, and most especially, a celebration of successful raiding voyage. You can always throw a feast in your settlement for a small amount of silver, and in exchange for that, you don't only increase the morale of your clan, but you also gain some buff that could help you in your next battles or raid. These buffs are directly affected by various settlements that offer different improvements. Bakery and brewery for additional health, cattle farm for additional range damage, grain farm for armor, foal farm for additional melee damage, Avis and Holger's house, and Hunwald and Swanbarrow's house for additional assassination damage. And there you go, friends! These are the things I wish I knew in the early game. If I find more tips and tricks worth pointing out, I'll make sure to make a second part of this video. So if you're interested in watching this type of video, don't forget to like and subscribe in my channel so you never miss an update.